Hi everybody, April here from Second Star Journal, and this week I'm documenting week 13 of Project Life, and I am very excited about this week because I get to use a couple of new items that I've purchased, and I cannot wait to show you guys. So let's get started. With the exception of that rainbow card that I just placed down, which is actually a digital file, the rest of the journaling cards I am using, I am pulling from my LE Studios kits stash just to get rid of them. So the first card I'm going to work on is my title card, and I think this is the card that I am most excited about. I really fell in love with the colors of this card and all of the numbers on the side, but I really didn't want a black stamp to take away from this card, so I'm going to grab this is one of my new items, the LE Studios Parker Alphas and the numbers, and what I'm going to do is stamp these on a spare piece of paper and then use the coordinating dies to cut them out. And as I mentioned before, I didn't want to use black, so off camera I had tested out some of my Tim Holtz distressed inks and found that the fired brick kind of matched. So I will go ahead and skip ahead a little bit just so it does take me a while to stamp these all out, and I'll jump ahead to cutting them out. But I do love how the colors kind of coordinate with it, and you'll see it here shortly. So here are the coordinating die cuts with these alphas, and I am obsessed with these. So a little trick that I do is I like to take some washi tape and stick it on the back of my hand first, and then stick it down just to keep the dies from kind of moving around, especially where my paper was a little too big for the plate, so I didn't want it to kind of shift during it. I will jump ahead again to the ending of it, cutting it out, so you guys can see how well that these colors kind of match with that title card. And I'm really happy with the way that these die cuts and the alpha stamps came out this week. So you'll see me go ahead and play around with the placement of this for a while, because that arrow die cut, my thought process was to originally use it for the date stamps, and I really was trying desperately to make it work, but I just felt like it was a little too matchy-matchy. It wasn't until I had flipped it the other way and had the 13 sitting on the lighter part of it that I really liked the way that it came out. So to avoid questioning myself any further, I go ahead and start sticking things down. So while I am finishing sticking those down, why don't I go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about my week. Tuesday we ended up dropping Snoopy off at a new doggy daycare for the day so we could kind of get a little feel for it and we could see how he does there, and he seemed to have a lot of fun, so that was exciting. Wednesday, me and my husband signed up for our first COVID vaccine, so that is next month towards the end of the month, and we're excited and nervous about that. Thursday, I tried bubble milk tea for the first time. It was very sweet. I mean, I didn't mind it, but the little black things at the end, I was kind of a texture person, so I kind of skipped that part. But for the most part, I did enjoy the tea. And then Friday was my busiest day. It was my older sister's birthday, so I know you watched this. Happy birthday, Kelly. And then I took the girls to go get their haircuts, and my youngest went super short. I'm talking cut off enough so we could donate hair. So that was a really exciting day for us. And that's basically all that really happened this week, and I'll show you some of the pictures later on, but I am just finishing off this title card by using my Heidi Swap roller date stamp and just stamping out the dates of the week and then calling that card good. So the next card I'm going to work on is this arrow card from LE Studios, and this is going to be my journaling card, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. This stamp set is from a bullet journaling stamp set that's super old for me, and I wanted to stamp out the days of the week and use my archival inks to kind of match the colors. So the colors I am using for this, the top tealish color I'm using is Garden Petunia, then the purplish I'm going to use Cactus Flower, and then the next one down will be Forget Me Not, and then I use Tea Rose on that kind of orangish color, and then the last one I use is that sunflower for the yellow, and I will kind of jump ahead to the finished card, and I love how the colors came out. And now I'm just going to kind of journal about my week, so I will fast forward again for that. So the next photo is the photo of the bubble tea, and I did do a digital stamp from Kelly's Stamps that say today's cup, so I just wanted to show you that. And then this next card is going to be a little flip pocket that I'm going to make for my sister. So the underside, I am getting my stamp set. I believe this stamp set came free with my first order from scrapbook.com, but I'm getting something out that says happy birthday. And then I'm going to use that same fired brick distressed ink from Tim Holtz to stamp it out underneath the bottom of that. And then once I have happy birthday stamped out, I am going to stick down that picture of my sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law. And then I'm going to take a little, kind of like an arrow die cut that I have, and have it point at my sister just to kind of show that it is her birthday. Once that is done, I am going to grab a spare piece of paper, and usually I just use a 2-inch thick piece of paper and I fold it in half. And I'm just going to stick the bottom half to the bottom part of that card right there, and then I'll put that to the side and work on my top part of my flap. So what I wanted to do for the top part of the card is make my own journaling card, and I thought I would do this using that same fired brick Tim Holtz distressed ink and a Heidi Swapp stamp that I have of a flower, and kind of try to do a repeat kind of stamping on this. So here I'm just kind of randomly stamping it, and I'm loving the way it comes out, but I didn't like the blank space, so I thought it would be kind of fun to stamp over them, the flowers in the like little white spots. And at first I was like, oh yeah, I like it, but then I kind of felt a little overwhelmed, and you'll see here shortly. I should have left it like that, but I wanted to fill in that inner space right there, and it just kind of felt a little overwhelming, but I go ahead and continue stamping and think of how I want to fix that. So the next stamp I'm going to grab is a stamp that says special moment / documented from my Ellie Studios Good Times Documented, and I stamped that out in black, and I do like the way that the black came on that. And as I was putting it away, I noticed they had a little heart stamp, and I thought maybe this will be the way to kind of tie it in. So what I did, and I do this every now and then, is I will stamp it in the ink first, and then I stamp it on my spare piece of paper to get a lot of the excess ink off, and then stamp it on the paper that I want to stamp it on to give it that faded look. And I do think that that gave it a little bit more definition, and I do like how this journaling card came out. So the next thing I'm going to do is build the flap, and I take my top piece and my bottom piece underneath that, which is just cut from a piece of Ellie Studios XOXO paper set, and I'm going to stick them together with the little flap, which is a die cut that I have, and you'll see it here shortly. There it is. It's kind of the same color as the journaling title card, and I'm just going to stick this all together and then call this card good. So the next journaling card I'm going to work on is actually going to go pretty quick. It is a photo that I took of my tea from Aroma Joe's, which I haven't gotten it in the longest time. And I'm just going to put it over that journaling card that I have. So I just cut down the photo to make it kind of centered. And I'm just going to stick that down to that journaling card with the rainbow colors on the side and call that card good, and then move on to my next card. So the last card I'm going to work on is a digital from the Ellie Studio. I think it was the February subscription, and it's actually a 3x4 card that I just kind of made two back to back to make it a 6x4. And I'm going to use another one of my new products. This is from Lawn Fawn. It's called Selfie Frames, and I'm going to take the Polaroid one and cut out that paper that I had used before on the backing of my flip up. And I'm going to use that to cut it out and make it kind of look like a selfie frame. Now, I just wanted to see how it looked first, so I'm just going to try it out with this spare piece of paper that I have. So it may be hard to see in the photo, but the paper is a bunch of random words. So I did try to place that bottom section of the Polaroid to have certain words kind of sit in that. And I'm just going to run that through my Sidekick to see how it comes out. Now, Before printing my photos, I did have this idea in my head, so I did size the photos to fit within that frame, and my thought process was if it didn't work, it would still look good on those that 6x4. I am happy with the results of how it came out, so I will jump ahead because I did cut out another frame, a Polaroid frame, but I'll jump ahead so you can see. Once I have placement of where I want the frames to be, I go ahead and use a pencil to draw the inside just so I can know where to stick down those pictures, and I'm just going to stick everything down and then move on to my embellishments. So the first die cut that I stick down is a arrow die cut that says "Love This" from Ellie Studios, and I stick that at the top of that 6x4 journaling card, and then I stick that gray and sign between the two photos because I saw that there were two phrases in the Felicity Jane Shea puffy stickers that kind of matched, and one was in white and one was in black, and I loved the way that it looked, so I go ahead and stick that "and" down, and then I take a black phrase that says "this" and stick it above it, and then a white phrase that says "that" and stick it below it, and call that card good. The next die cut that I'm going to stick down is a little circle label that I'm going to stick on my bubble milk tea photo, and then I'm going to pull out my Felicity Jane Jenny word phrase, and I'm going to put in that circle a phrase that says "love," and then I find another phrase that says "the sweetest," and I'm going to put that on my photo of my tea, my iced tea from Aroma Joe's. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Ellie Studio cozy chipboard pieces, and I remember seeing that there was a circle chipboard of a rainbow, so I'm just going to put that on the top of my tea photo to kind of match the 6x4 journaling card below it, as well as the colors on that journaling card itself. And then lastly, I'm going to finish off this spread with a chipboard piece that says "Filled with Wonder" and put that on my title card and call this spread good. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you. See you guys next week. Bye.